This is the epic micro you came here for. Enjoy the show. Gentlemen, lovers of war, traders of great renown, I, the strategic Indian, bid you welcome to my channel, where our motto is think, practice thinking. If you like the content, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment, which will greatly help with the almighty YouTube algorithm. The Alans have been sighted of Sirmium and have laid siege to this lynchpin of the Balkans. Every passing hour, our resolve in the Balkans is being tested. They probe, they reconnoiter, they attack. Used to ranging freely upon a weakened Western Roman Empire, they hurl towards the Balkans with a lust for loot and plunder unsurpassed. However, our legions stand, ever vigilant, ever ready, protecting the memory of our first martyr, Maximus Decimus Meridius, a humble boy from Sirmium who laid down his life taking out the Quadians. The province of Pannonia, where we shall raise an august triumphal arch, has to be held by our legions to complete this monumental task we have set ourselves out to accomplish. May his name live forever, and one day some bored movie director make a historically inaccurate movie on his life. As the Alani ride into battle, bloody scalps displayed proudly on their saddles, few can dispute their reputation for unsurpassed ferocity. The only god they worship is a sword planted in the earth, and they favor a life of relentless conquest. Yet, even the Alani wavered in the face of the Huns and the relentless pillaging that followed in their wake. Many fled the carnage, becoming pawns to Vandals and Romans, while others joined the Huns in search for plunder. They start with 2 stacks, and in this episode, we shall wipe off one of these stacks, lowering their war-making capability to 50%. And eventually wipe them from the campaign map. In the previous episode, the Marcomanns sent a powerful force to outflank us at Iuvanum. Their aim was to reach towards the unguarded interior of the empire through the Alpine passes. This would be reminiscent of the great Carthaginian general Hannibal Barca, who happens to be my most favorite historical generalissimo. However, these goat herders, shepherds, ironmongers, and night soil collectors are not led by a generalissimo, nor bestowed with an iota of intelligence of Hannibal Barca. Unbeknownst to them, we were watching their every move. Our troops lying in ambush were activated to catch this army in a time and place of our choosing. With clear cavalry superiority on our side, you know what to expect. A lot of god tier micro and a complete sweep of this Marcomanni stack. Right, Parthia got eliminated by the White Huns, so that is expected. They really start out against insurmountable odds and they are punished for it. Back to our Balkan front. We had a great battle against the Huns over here. Some of our buildings are damaged. I'll just let it heal over time. I don't have the money. The legions are doing quite well. I'm keeping a weaker legion in Savaria because I'm keeping the stronger legion in Savaria because that city is a bit harder to defend. So I keep a weaker garrison and I force the enemy to go towards Sopine because it sees a weaker stack, but it's a much better and much easier defended town. So I'll get the mercenaries so that I have some very good anti-infantry. I want the Bastanians to attack me. I'm not going to go out and waste my time. let them come to the city, and I'm going to just send them through a Roman meat grinder. Trade gained, Emperor. So the Emperor fought off rebel stack in Africa, so that's very nice. He gets some upgrades. Yeah, he will constantly get bad upgrades, and if you put him through a lot of fights, then these bad upgrades go away. So the unpopular tends to go away, but the torturer becomes far more worse and worse over time. So Honorius is really troublesome as the Western Roman Empire's faction leader, because he gives a lot of negative points to public order. But yeah, soon we'll have so much money that we'll be able to give very good public order buildings everywhere, and we will be able to roll back this negative traits. Venetia, we got a little farm built. I'm not going to put in any money over there right now. Now, we noticed a very dangerous threat. The Varinians have moved through the Alpine passes, and they are gunning for Octodorum. So the Emperor has said that we have to arrest the destiny of the Varinians, and therefore we are going to raise an army to protect Octodorum. This is a real last-ditch effort, because I expected them to move north towards Colonia Agrippina, because they don't see the legion that I have posted there, because it's hidden. So I'll get all the mercenaries that I can, because this place has to be held. What the Varinians will do is they will just create a faction, and it'll make a gigantic headache for us. We are going to go for the Marcomanni, who have stumbled into our region. So I spend my spy to have a look around. Never go to a fight in the forward direction while you have enemies towards your back. That's a very important conventional wisdom. Always make sure that your 6 o'clock is clear. Similarly, we are going to go after the Alans, so we are going to look around in the Balkans to make sure that we don't have anybody willing to throw a surprise at us. We are going to charge out with the garrison, because it's rested, and if I try to fight with the other legion, it won't be able to reach, and all its movement points will be spent covering the Danube. We have no chance of cavalry superiority, so we are going to have to sacrifice one of our cavalry boys. So that is why this episode is called The Charge of the Light Brigade. Cannons to the right of them, cannons to the left of them. And yeah, that's going to be a sacrificial unit. So the way I started is that we have a very solid melee line. The most important thing is that I am the general, so that's why victory is assured. And the negative thing for Romans is that we don't have enough horses. Alans just have too many horses, and their biggest negative is that I'm not their horses. I'm not their general. I'm not their horses, wow. I'm not their general. And the other negative is that, they don't have enough horses. There are not enough horses in the entire world which will be able to stop the tricks that we're going to pull on them. Our reinforcements are going to come in from the left flank, and what we are going to do is we are going to utilize the end edge of the battlefield, because the point about having a lot of enemy horses is that they will constantly try to outflank you. So if you pin one of your flanks towards the end of the battlefield, then they can't go around. Well, we won't completely cheese it, so we will have it almost towards the end of the battlefield, but not quite. The game plan will be that we form up the Roman heavy infantry line with pikes, so then their charges will be quite ineffectual. And our allies are going to come in with these Hunnic horse archers, who are going to be sent forward as the light brigade. And their main purpose is to harass the enemy, and to make sure that the entire cavalry does not arrive at our front line at the same place. We cannot afford to get all of them trying to outflank us, and then it will be a mess. So our light cavalry, which is our horse archers, are going to go forward. They're going to mash up some of their horses, do the best job they can. Meanwhile, our horses on the right hand flank is going to take their horses, and we'll try to do the best, because they really bring a lot of horses, and their other horse archers are going to focus on our infantry line, which is in a stationary testudo. So those horses I don't need to worry about, because Roman heavy melee infantry will be able to soak up those arrow fire like it's rain on a Thursday afternoon. Once we have cracked their horses and the weakened horses who have been punished by our light brigade, those horses are going to be priority for us, because we will try to wrest control of the entire battlefield with whatever battered cavalry that we have is going to take out the rest of their battered cavalry. It will be a bit of a mess, because we don't have enough horses, and their general, their main horse line is going to cause us a lot of grief. We in the meantime are going to just hold their infantry in place, and then we are going to swing our archers and our javelins around to the right, so that we can start throwing javelins and projectiles to the back of the enemy. So that's going to be the game plan, but expect it to be disrupted, because those horse archers that we have not been able to neutralize, and any remnant horses, even their general, is going to cause us a lot of grief. So our projectile line will take a bit of a hammering, because we don't have enough horse numbers, but this is the best that we can do. We are going to aim to really crack their infantry line, to take out most of their boys as much as we can with our infantry line and with our projectile units firing to their backs. We won't use our cavalry, because then we want to preserve whatever battered cavalry we have. We want to send it back to Roman territory and then use it in future counterattacks. So this is the game plan. We have to destroy their cavalry, we have to weaken as much of their infantry as possible, and their projectiles, they don't have much, and make sure that they run away. All of their horse archers are going to run away, but if we have enough infantry left, we will be able to cross over the Danube and then destroy the stack, because horse archers, when they have to fight in an auto-resolve battle against Roman heavy infantry, then they don't do as well. So we'll preserve most of our infantry. We'll try to preserve as much of our projectiles and our horse boys as we can, and then as soon as they run away, we reach out and we destroy the stack. This stack is not going to go back and create havoc for us in the future. So the battle has begun. A beautiful dry day. We are going to put our infantry in an angle with one end towards the battle line. So there is the Atlantic line. You can see that's a gigantic number of horses and a lot of infantry. It's not heavy infantry, it's not good infantry, but there is a lot of them. Our archers are going to be kept behind the heavy infantry line, because their horses will constantly try to probe and find ways to get to our projectiles. That's why we have to hide them behind our heavy infantry, which will just stand in place. It's not going to move. Roman infantry is not going to move. We did our grouping. Our generals are held towards the back. Now let's send forward our horses, which are going to do the charge of the light brigade. So it's going to be the Hunnic horse archer, because that is the most versatile unit. It can stand on its own. However, we expect it to be sacrificed. So this is thank you guys for your service, and off they go. The light brigade has begun its charge. I'm now putting infantry in the corners at a little bend, so that I can stop their horses from charging my projectile lines. It's a bit iffy what we do with the projectile lines, because we can't place them in the front because they will get charged and harassed. We can't move them out of the protective line of the infantry. We'll just have to have them towards the back. We'll have to wait. Right, so our horse archers have reached their destination. They're immediately starting to get shot by their horse archers. And remember, your troops are always at a disadvantage, because this is legendary difficulty. So they are not chasing our Hunnic horse archers, so we move them out of range and we switch them off to fire arrows to do additional damage on their cavalry, and we start firing on their cavalry, which is casually walking towards us, because yeah, they have got significant number advantages, and they are going to be very confident and cocksure of themselves. So let them to their illusions. Their horse archers are now firing at our horse archers, so this is really Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man. I love that meme. But yeah, remember, our horses are going to come off much worse. Even if the numbers are equal, if we have the same upgrades, we are always going to come off far worse. So our pike line is hidden behind our shield of heavy infantry. There. Their horse archers are moving into place. They will destroy our pike lines quite a bit. So our pikes are going to take a lot of suffering. Oh, we have to focus on our horse archers are getting charged by their lancer or their melee, and these horse archers wear cotton shirts. So our horse archers are running, but they're not done yet. I don't think so. Thank you, guys. This was the charge of the Light Brigade, but I'm pretty sure they'll come back. So their cavalry is charging our pike line, so they're welcome to do that. And Roman heavy infantry is not going to move today, not tomorrow. So yes, there it is. Our horse boys are still in the fight. Our horse archers are still in the fight. They are doing devastating charges against our infantry line with angular, with wedge formation, which is really a very difficult maneuver to pull off well. So the AI always tries to pull off a wedge formation and charge, but yeah, against Roman heavy infantry with our pike lines, yeah, there is our horse boys. Come on, we are going to so if that horse unit also reached our lines, it would be creating additional trouble for us. So we don't want that. Look at the variety of infantry that the Alans have bought. They have bought axes, they have bought swords. Alans don't have any spears. That's why it's very difficult to play This is Total War with Alans, because as soon as you settle down, you don't have any good garrisons because there are no spears. They are purely offensive, just horse archers all day. And okay, that's a story for another time. It's an interesting story. I can talk a lot about that because that's something I've done and had a lot of tears shed. Right, so our left flank is holding, our center line is holding, some of our pikes are running because yeah, they have been continuously getting shot. We are now going to start moving our projectiles away from the protection of our own infantry because they have just a horse archer unit menacing us, and we keep our cavalry nearby so that our projectiles don't get shot. I'm trying to reposition our pikes who are coming back to the fight, sending the axes in because our center line is going to have a bit of trouble. So I see an opportunity with their general, because their general is dilly-dallying and he's not entering the fight. I'm keeping my cavalry still in reserve because there is a very dangerous cavalry unit which was distracted by the charge of the Light Brigade. So I'm sending my horses forward in anticipation for this really great threat, while the general is an extremely enticing target. So there, we see their horse coming in. We send our cavalry in. Meanwhile, we try to arrange our projectiles to the right flank so that we can somehow try to get off a nice position and start hammering this infantry line, this gigantic infantry line of theirs. Look at the amount of infantry. A horse civilization is bringing more infantry than a Roman legion. It's crazy. Right. So our horses are not doing as well. They are under a lot of punishment from their cavalry because their cavalry is of course much better than ours. So we are going to start firing at this near unit of horse archers of theirs. Our generals are going to be sent into the danger zone. So let's hope that pays off because our center line is collapsing. There, we melted one of their horse archers. So something that is really nice that we got off. Next, we're going to try to aim for their general, because as soon as their general goes, this whole rotten edifice is going to just come crashing down. We are winning on the left flank. Their left flank is collapsing. Oh, there comes their general for a charge against one of our projectiles. So yeah, there is nothing that we can do. Our cavalry is busy, so one of our projectile boys are going to be sacrificed. We're going to disperse them as much as we can, and as soon as one of these cavalry are arrested by this projectile unit which got charged, we are going to fire on our own boys, because yeah, we don't have any other options. That's the only way we can capture or do any damage to their general, because we don't have any working infantry left right now. There, we got their general. Big. Yeah, we got their general. This is huge. Yes. Now this whole thing is going to collapse. Now we're going to move our projectile boys to the right, and they are going to take off positions, and they are going to just send out volleys to this infantry line as it just runs away. Our left flank has carried the day, so it is helping the center, and it's gradually moving towards left flank. Our generals are giving their war shouts. Let's go. Yeah, so our cavalry has now been battered to no end, but it's going to move in to try to protect and try to mop up as much as possible. There, we got the victory. They are all running. We won't be able to catch up their horse archers, but as we said, our main target is to preserve our infantry, which will help us crush this army which ran away with a lot of horse archers. Great. Our garrison took the beating, but it will recover because we checked with our spy. There is no immediate threat in the Balkans. And the other army also came off pretty well. All of our cavalry also survived. They didn't get eliminated. Now let me take out my very small violin. Because yeah, we are not letting this army escape. We get all the movement points because they were sitting at the crossing of the Danube, so we couldn't get to them. But now they are not holding that choke point, so we're going to reach out. I'm going to take my small violin out, and one stack of the Allans are going to be eliminated.
Ready for battle.
Beautiful. There remains one Alanic stack. That will take a few turns to arrive. It's also at war with the Eastern Roman Empire, so sometimes they create a lot of havoc in the Balkans and then try to swim across the Mediterranean Sea and get to Magna Graecia, which can be a bit troublesome. Let's see what they do. We don't have to worry about them right now. This general gets infantry and cavalry bonus because this is going to be a fighting unit. Finally, it's time to show ourselves to the Marcomanni who have come near Augusta Vindicorium, and we are going to go for this fight. Stilicho again. Stilicho is really racking up all these skills. These guys are even in a force march situation. So what they have done is that they have hidden themselves in this little hillock in the forest. So that our cavalry cannot do much harm to them. So that's very smart of the AI, and they also have onager. That's why they were going towards Augusta Vindicorium to be able to go and take that city out in one fight. So that's why this was a very, very dangerous surprise that we got. This could have been devastating for us if they were able to reach the city and hit it one turn with the onager and destroy that city. So we are going to play dodge the rocks from the onager. We moved forward one of our raider cavalry, which is going to just move left to right, back and front to make them waste all of the ammunition. There we go. All the ammunition is spent. We are now going to move forward our infantry and our foot and our mobile projectiles. Our mobile projectiles consist of horse archers and Germanic brigands. As soon as the Germanic brigands run out of ammunition, they are going to be melee cavalry and they're going to be moved to group 1. These guys do a lot of damage, but they don't have as many ammunition. But the horse archers don't do as much damage, but they have quite a lot of ammunition. It takes a long time for them to run out. Meanwhile, our infantry is going to take position on this hill, and we're going to hide our 2 competency spears behind a screen of pikes, and we'll just wait for them to come and punish them. Our archers are going to work. Our raider has moved forward because he also has a few projectiles that he can throw. So our foot projectiles are opened up to fire, while we are going precision shot with our slingers. That is really punishing for the enemy. We're going to move our raider unit back, and we're going to move our cavalry in such a way that there is a clear divide between their infantry, which is going to go for our infantry line, and the infantry of theirs, which is going for our cavalry line. So we will move them out of phase of each other so that we can maximize the confusion that is caused within their own lines, trying to reach 3 targets. They're trying to catch up to our cavalry, they're trying to catch up to our foot projectiles, and they're trying to catch up to our infantry lines. So we're going to make sure that they march divided and they fight divided. The maxim is always march divided, fight united. So we're going to make sure that that becomes too troublesome for them. Our javelins are doing a fantastic job. Our foot projectiles have to be moved back constantly because they're trying to catch up, but they are also getting off kills, and we are going to move our axes to the right flank, to the left flank of our infantry line, so that they can easily reach out and start punishing, because axes are going to be really devastating to these early Germanic levy units. They are going to have a very, very bad day today outside of Augusta Windelcourt. Right, so they did not see this army because it was hidden in the bushes, and then they came in completely sure of themselves. So our horse archers are going to be put on staggered mode so that they keep running away, on skirmish mode so that they keep running away and continue to fire. Our axes are now being activated. Our general is nearby so that their axe units don't scare our boys. Right, epic micro incoming. So we have cavalry superiority, and it's time to show them how we do things. So we have started charging their infantry as they are moving in. We are going to move our projectile units in such a manner that they can completely punish this mass of infantry that has formed on our left flank. Our competency spears are moved back because that's complete pointless fight trying to make them fight against axes. Our horse units are doing fantastic. One of the axes have caught up, but before they can even get into position and start punishing our horse boys, we move our horses back. We move horses to the back of the axis so that we can do a hammer and anvil, and we also start firing on the various infantry. We can see their general now, so we'll have to start firing on their general. Right, the axes, so our competency spears were sent behind the pike line, and then the axes just charged, and then they got impaled on the pike, so they got completely dissolved. A job which 120 competency spears cannot do, 30 pikemen can do that. So we are going to hammer their pikes because, it takes too much micromanagement at this stage with so many things going on. To charge their pikes, so I will prioritize pikes to be taken out by foot projectile units who are still with ammunition, and their spears and axes we are going to try to take out. So we are sending our horses through the lines. That's why I make sure that whenever you have Germanic brigands, once their ammunition is spent, that you put them off of the skirmish mode, then they are able to weave through. There, one of their not so fast. They tried to catch up to one of our cavalry, couldn't, and we sent him to hammer and anvil. They were thinking they would catch our horses. Yeah, better luck next time. You ain't catching this, son. Right, their axes are almost gone, so that is very important. We are sending one more cavalry unit to help our cavalry, which is fighting with the Germanic levy. It will do a hammer and anvil that will completely dissolve them. I'm moving back projectiles as they are finishing their projectiles. Right now their powers are more or less gone. They don't have enough. They really don't have enough right now. So their general is wavering. It's a matter of time before we get him. We send our axes in after their general. Our axes have been completely untouched, but they have done a fantastic job of dissolving their infantry. We are sending all of our infantry into this blob. There, we got their general. Fantastic. Now it's just a matter of mop up, because I don't want this army going back. The reason for that is that this army, if it hobbles back, while it'll go and start picking up all these mercenaries from Germania, we don't want that. We want this, clear gone. And we want them to start with a fresh stack in their capital, Kasurgis. And what we will do is we will go near Kasurgis and destroy that new stack, the city garrison, and that army that they have over there in Kasurgis. So that is the tactical situation which is going to drive our strategy. We are going to force march so that we can protect Iuvanum, because that army in Kasurgis can reach Iuvanum in one turn, and if it does, the garrison is not strong enough to defend that. We checked, did all our recruitment, and we ended the turn. Antians, thank God they went away. My God, what a dangerous army. I don't know what I would do if that came into the Balkans. Yeah, there's no chance. But they have a lot of wars going on their territory, so yeah. The Danes and the Jutes and the Geats went back. They will be back in a few turns because they're going to recruit more armies. But while they are not here, I don't have many troops in Cabellodonum so that I can save on money. And then after a few turns, I will get all the mercenary ships, the mercenaries on the land troops that I can find in Cabellodonum to make sure that that hard point is defended. Eastern Roman Empire. Huns have still to send some troops towards us. They are getting into more and more difficult situation. I think they're fighting the Grethangians. They're fighting the Venedians. Okay, Bastarnians, let's see what they do. Great. So they fall into our trap. They are going for Sopine, which has got a weaker garrison, but an amazingly easy city to protect. This is the army they start with a lot of horses, with a lot of slingers and Germanic bows, but we are going to dissolve this army, and they come with onager. So it's lucky that they didn't go for Sirmium this turn, because that onager can break into Sirmium in one go.
This has been the Strategic Indian, signing out.